Hi there. As you can see, I'm in a little bit of an intense game right now. Crap. If you don't mind me, I'm gonna get back to this, okay? Okay. Mario Party. This is a series that I have been playing literally my whole life. Ever since the moment that I can remember anything in my life, I have been playing this series. It doesn't matter who you talk to, everyone has their favorites, least favorites, and controversial takes, especially when it comes to Mario Party. So what better way to begin the change in my channel than to begin with the most recent game being Jamboree to see where each of them sit in this series for me. Of course, I'm going to be talking about a bunch of other games as we go on, but one thing that will be certain is that I will be making videos for every Mario Party, well, except for E, so I can see where everything truly is to me. Now, when it comes to Mario Party, I think just about everyone can agree on one thing. We want good boards, and well, of course, minigames, but boards are usually a top priority for most. It's one of the main reasons why some games in this series are seen as some of the higher rated, and why others are those that most never want to touch again. So I've looked and scoured and played these boards in the game myself, and yeah, there's really no boards that I would consider bad. Probably the lowest that I'd go for any of them is good or slightly better than okay, which admittedly may not happen in any of the other games. You got your boards where it's like, nah, could be better. It's like NASCAR! Wow, I feel old. Fuck! What? Why are you still on me? Isn't this part of the video where you go back to the gameplay? Oh, that in the top right. Oh yeah, that's my ranking video for the boards. You should go check that out if you haven't. I mean, you might agree with me, you might not, but hey, either works for me. But yeah, whether you've seen it or don't want to watch it, to me there's really not any choice that you can make as your favorite board and be wrong, since I do honestly enjoy them all. Does every board have critiques that I can make? Of course, they're all Mario Party boards after all. Even with some of my favorites ever, I can still find issues with them. Now, the other big thing are the minigames. Both of these two things are like a yin to each other's yang. You can't have one without the other. Just like you can't have one cat without having a second cat. Games have tried this in the past, where you have a ton of minigames, but maybe only a single board, or a whole bunch of boards, but you don't play minigames every single turn. But understandably to most, that just doesn't feel right. So we know we can play minigames after each turn, but are the minigames good? Well, yeah. Can they be a little intense? Well, you win some, you lose some. Well then, are there any bad ones? I don't know, you tell me. Now, I just gotta say it here. It seems like the overwhelmingly majority of people online say that Gatekeepers is their least favorite minigame or damn near close to it. Just because I'm genuinely curious. If it is for you, let me know why. Have you only played with computers? Do you just not like luck-based minigames, or think maybe this is like the worst luck-based minigame? Or was it because of the mission in the single-player mode? It was probably that, wasn't it? This honestly more or less has nothing to do with the video, but after seeing so many people upset that I didn't have it as the worst in my video, I just had to ask. So in this game, there are 112 minigames that you can play. Of those 112, 34 of them are only able to be played in the side modes, 5 of them are boss minigames that can be played in the single player mode, or if you happen to land on a versus space on the boards that have bosses and have it land on the roulette there, or choose it in the other main way to play Mario Party, but we'll get to that. There are also 15 minigames that are required for you to use Joy-Cons, which I think had many people fearing about it being a forced thing for the entire game when we saw that super tagline at the beginning of the game. And we also have 10 minigames that are specified to characters as well. So all in all, if you are playing without motion controls, the range of minigames that can show up in any given game are 55 to 60, depending on whether everybody is using Jamboree buddy characters or not, and also depending on the board that you're playing on. If you are using motion controls, however, then the number jumps up to 70 to 75 minigames, which does look more appealing. But of course, when you compare those numbers to a game like Superstars, where you could play 100 of them on the boards, they do look a bit worse off if you're only looking at the numbers themselves. You can look at probably anybody's favorite games in this series from the past and see the number of minigames playable on the boards looking somewhere between these two sets of numbers. Well, except Mario Party 1. It was the first one, so of course it had the least. Wow, I really went off on a little bit of a tangent there, huh? Let's get back to the main point. The question is, does it hurt this game to not have a higher quantity of minigames? Absolutely not. There are stinkers here, but to me, there are more good than bad by a good amount. Now, when it comes to actually playing Mario Party, there are some changes made to the main mode from past games, and a new way to play as well. This game has a more cinematic approach, where the camera is moving around with the characters when they move, and when you roll high, you move fast, but if you roll low, then you move slower. So of course, with the game being that way, that means things are a little slow as shown with the expected timers for each amount of the turns. Now, I think that these times are for those who are more critical with how they play, or they keep the minigame instructions on, they like to look at the events play out with speeding them up, and of course for those that end up doing most, if not all, of the showdown minigames from the Jamboree buddies. Oh yeah, there's also these guys. At random intervals, usually between maybe 3 to 4 times in a 15 to 20 turn game, one of 10 characters will show up for you to battle against everyone else to get to follow you around. However, if you happen to be playing as any of these characters in a given board, they won't show up for the game and will give the others a much higher chance of showing up. Each character has their own special ability that they can do after you get them. Some might give you an extra dice roll, some might make items cheaper in the shop. Others might also make the star cheaper. They all have their own uniqueness to them. Now, these characters also allow you to do some things 2 times, like buying items at the shop, using Boo, and of course, buying stars. They also make it to where most spaces can happen twice, like the red, blue, item, lucky, unlucky, and yes, Bowser space. Chance time versus and events continue to only happen once, but the rest will double everything or have you spin roulettes 2 times. Now, granted, the upside of having these characters definitely outweigh the negatives, unless it is the second half of a game and you're on your way to landing on a Bowser space. That one sucks the most. Trust me, I almost did it. But along with all these changes, we also have the Pro Rules mode that we can play on the boards. With these rules, every game is 12 turns long. Items can be sold out at shops, there's only 1 bonus star at the end, minigames are always voted on, and you get to choose an item to bring into the board with you. Now, of course, there's more to it, but those are the main things. Pro Rules tries to take out as much of the luck-based aspects of Mario Party as it can. No chance times, most luck-based minigames rarely show up, if even at all, and as mentioned before, the bonus star. There's only 3 that I can choose from, being the event, the sightseer, and the slowpoke stars. Now, maybe this is just me, but wouldn't minigame star be literally perfect for this? Especially if they don't allow luck-based minigames. That's probably the most skill-based thing that you could do for a bonus star. But I digress. It starts the game telling you which one to go for, so you know how to go about playing that specific board. It's not something that will take over the main Mario Party mode for me, but I do see myself playing it a decent amount. Now, what would a Mario Party game be without any side modes? This game takes a little bit of the super approach with having a cooperative mode, a rhythm mode, modes that make you think that they're kinda meh but seem a little bit interesting, and of course a mode or 2 that you'll look at and maybe touch once and never again. Alright, time to fly!
1990. Spaghetti.
But I think most people would say that the two standouts here are Koopathlon and Bowser Kaboom Squad. You may like one or the other, or maybe even both, but they both bring something nice here. Koopathlon is basically just Coinathlon from Star Rush, but here you can play it online with others. And Bowser Kaboom Squad is a mode where you can work together with up to 7 people to take down Imposter Bowser. You collect bombs, shoot them from the cannons at Bowser, and play 8-player minigames to get items to use during the sections where you shoot those cannons at Bowser to do it as fast as you can. Simple, fun, and just pray that you aren't stuck with 3-year-old Jimmy, who is playing his first game ever online with you. Oh, and better than this attempt at a mode, but we'll talk all about this when we get to this game. You've been hearing music from this game throughout this video, and there are some songs in here that are just real damn good. I don't care what anyone says, some songs I will jam out to whenever I need a song to jam out to. But yeah, there are just a lot of highs in this game, like the boards, mini games, music, most modes, and mechanics. Sure, there are some things that aren't the best, like the Paratrooper Flying School, or some parts of Minigame Bay, since it is more or less just a rehash of Superstars, when there are just much better minigame modes in other games, but those don't even come close to the amount of good parts in the game. Now at the end of each of these, I'm going to be putting all of these games that I make videos about in a tier list to keep track of where they all are for me. And so if you watch another video and see I did a video on a game that you think would be interesting to watch to see why maybe it's there, you'd be able to go check it out. So for this very first game, I'm going to be putting Mario Party Jamboree in the A tier with a 9.1 out of 10. It is absolutely a very good Mario Party. I could not suggest this game enough. But we'll have to see in due time whether or not it will be overthrown by any of the other Mario Parties in this series. Now just remember to always have yourselves a Jamboree. Why are you still here? Leave already. Go!